Hello, my name is Perry. This is episode 71 of BPerryFilms Podcast. In this video, I will be going into a deep dive on a web series that I've been following on YouTube called Millionaire In A Year series. My thoughts on this is that there are too many unrealistic and there has been no clear objective that helps support these claims. As a person who created this goal has no clear direction, they use language such as life is easy, marriage is easy, raising a baby is easy, making money is easy. Language like this puts an opposing wall in people's minds and how they treat you because they don't have the same level of resources and are in different forms of hardship that this person can't relate to. So in this podcast episode, I will explain how most people feel when watching these type of videos that are pushed out by these people who consider themselves influencers. So I'll be breaking it down into different modules, just breaking this down so it makes sense to all of us. So we can start with privilege. Privilege is basically having access to things that other people don't. It allows people that are higher rank or in a systematic system, basically letting them know if they are rich versus are they poor. And it's very questionable if there's a middle ground as to if there's a middle class, because you only make money in a system if people are broke and don't know how to spend money and getting people to spend more than what they actually have. And believe it or not, that's how banks operate. They want you, even though that they claim that they want you to pay on time, but they make money off of you paying off an interest. And just to make it clear that basically having money gives you access to power, education, and also the environment allows these privileges that few people have access to. There's a small percentage of people who are born from wealth, and especially in the Black community. As you know, there's a very small window. So there was a time back on social media, back when YouTube was a thing. Not saying that YouTube isn't a thing, but there's other platforms now. But people's goals used to be like 6 figures. Okay, let's work to that. Okay, next month later, it became 7 figures, 8 figures, then millionaires. Now people are trying to become billionaires if possible, which is still a stretch. I have seen people evolve on their platforms, going from McDonald's coffee to Dunkin' Donuts coffee, Starbucks coffee, and now when you really got some money, I see people getting Blue Bottle coffee, and that's about $10. And it's just showing you how people are evolving, people getting nice houses, fancy cars that they claim that they own, but we all know that many people are renting out these things just for a video, just to make it more flashy, because what's more appealing to you? How to make $1 million or how to make your first $1,000? More realistic people would follow the $1,000. It doesn't sound like much, but it adds up over time versus how do you become a millionaire in just a short period of time, like a year, like the video that I'm responding to. I feel like people have like a wall and don't realize that their goals can actually harm people, because we have to think, where are they getting all this money from? Are they hustling you through a membership, through a course, through a workshop? I'm hearing people talk about that they're spending $50,000 on a coaching call or $100 a month on a membership. It becomes so expensive, and at the end of the day, you have to figure out, is it really worth it? Are you getting any value at the end of the day? Do you feel like there's a big transformation from you before versus you now in a couple of months? And then a year later, 2 years later, 3 years later, you always have to think of that when you're going out to spend your money. And now we're talking about concerts and stuff. People are charging anywhere between $4,000 to $10,000. And at the same breath, people are saying how they can't afford their rent, they can't afford their student loans, but I see you going to all these concerts to support these people that don't care anything about you, you know? So it kind of hurts you in the long run. It's benefiting them because they're getting the money, but it doesn't benefit you. So you just gotta pick and choose where you want to allocate your money, because it's not my job to tell you where to put it. It's your job because it's yours and you worked hard for it. And I always tell people to invest in education, invest in yourself, get that house or apartment that you always wanted, expand your family if you need to. But when people say life is easy, marriage is easy, having a baby is easy, people don't understand the struggle that people go through. Not having access to tip number one, assets, which is money. How do you navigate? Being able to keep the lights on, being able to have food in the house, being able to provide for your 1 or 3 children, or even more, depending on how big your family is. How do you know what to invest in? What do you know not to invest in? How do you know how much power that you have without having this quote unquote high value money, being a high value man, being a high valued woman? Everything is about money, and what comes with money is power and responsibility. So you have to ask yourself, does the money give you power over others? You can look at it over a humble standpoint and just think, yes, it benefits me to have more money because I want to achieve this goal, which is getting that promotion, getting that nice house, our first home, being able to invest in stocks to build more wealth, starting up businesses to help people get from off the street and into a solid foundation of a job that they can use to benefit their families. You know, you have to look at things from a wider lens. Sometimes money isn't just about yourself. Another question that you could ask yourself is, who do you allow to have access to this power? This comes from having resources around you. This could be your friends, your family, and you just notice over time that people start to change because you have more than them and they feel like you're better than them in some type of way. But in actuality, you could be helping them out. You could say, I'll help you with this, I'll give you some money for this, or I could help start up a charity for an organization that I'm passionate about. Like for me, I'm into performing arts and film, so I would definitely love to do workshops where I could teach people how to film their content, whether you're getting ready for a performance, getting visuals, or creating ads. And that's how I would use money. I would find ways to make more money through offering services to people, starting up jobs, starting up opportunities, because everything has to rotate. You can't just hold money because after a while it loses value over time. As you know, inflation goes up, the tariffs are being added due to what's going on in politics and things with China and other countries. You know, there's a lot of things that you will lose access to. And you keep thinking you need more money, but we have to learn how to treat people in a way. Like I said, money comes with responsibility. And then you have to think, what would you do if you had that kind of money, if you had access to it? Like I said, I would start up businesses to help people get off the street. I would want people to do what they're passionate about and love and enjoy. I teach people how to write business plans, how to market themselves, how to speak in front of the camera. Believe it or not, I get really nervous talking in front of you guys. I don't know what people are thinking, but I know that this content has to go out and I have to perform my best. Whether it's with a script, without a script, with some notes, but there are some key points that I want to make sure that I address. Because when you look at videos like this, it becomes overwhelming for people to understand, because everyone's just showing you the great side of things. People aren't telling you about the struggles. Like, people won't understand unless if they go to college how much debt you accrue after you finish. People don't understand the importance of community in college, building relationships with people from all over the world, people with different interests, people with similar interests, learning how to build connections, how to start up businesses, how to be a team player when it comes to sports, applying for grants, scholarships, and all the additional resources that benefit you in the long run. You know, these are things that people don't really think about. And that brings me to my next point, it's education. How does your degree tell you about yourself? People ask me all the time, you have a master's degree in business management with a concentration in organizational leadership. What does that mean? Basically, I'm kind of like a consultant. I decided very last minute I had to apply to 20 schools in 1 month. Yes, it was very last minute, but I knew that I wanted to do something in IT, dance, and business. And I went to Dean College. I got into my top 3 schools, ICT Tech for technology, Johnson & Wales for business management, and then I got into Dean for dance and business, and it also offered technology. So why not go to a school that offers 3 in 1? When I thought about getting my degree, I just thought of what if something happens. And I'm glad I had that epiphany in my head because the pandemic hit. And if I were to be like some of my other peers who just pursue dance full time, there was a moment where people weren't making any money. There were a lot of people that couldn't even apply for unemployment. And people had to pick up a traditional job or work at a bartending job, being a valet parker, just something just to get some income so they could pay the rent day to day and even invest in getting roommates. But these are things that we have to think about. It's more than just a degree. You just think about opportunities that could come your way, and people look at you and treat you differently. I know when I first got to college, people thought me a certain way, and then as soon as I got my associates and bachelors from Dean College, people started to approach me a little bit differently. I started getting involved in more clubs and memberships. People started knowing who I was. I started building brand awareness outside of performing arts. And then when I got my master's, I think there was a different level of respect. I felt like when I was applying for jobs, people didn't want to hire me because they have to pay me more. And then there was also the other side of people are just like, wow, he got a master's degree. That means that he really knows what he's talking about. And he's been able to lead these different organizations, be able to work with companies like QuickBooks, WeWork, Dean College, building partnerships, relationships with different types of people. And people are looking at the full circle moment of me starting my company 3 years in and realizing that I'm doing this more than just for me. I'm doing this for other people. People are seeing all the guests that I have on my podcast. People are wondering, how does he know all this information? Let's invest in some of his services, such as his courses and his webinar presentation, so they can get a personal relationship with me, see that I'm real, see that I have real emotion, and that I'm here to help them and not just trying to help out my pocket, you know? And people just want to see that realistic side. I know straight after school, people think you're going to be making 6 figures right away. That doesn't happen just like that. You still have to get that professional work experience. People are just like, okay, that's nice. That's a nice degree. That's just a nice degree. I spent 5 years in school. I graduated a year early. And it was really tough. So hearing people downplay how smart I am, what my capabilities are without giving me a chance, it's really hard and it hinders me at times. So I thought, why not start my business? Show that I can be an expert. Show that I'm willing to learn. And in my niche, I'm always reading books. I'm always reading articles. I'm always taking notes. Being in a documentary field, being in a consultant field, or being in performing arts, you're always researching. You're always trying to find ways to improve and develop new skills. It's part of the process of any type of CEO. Because if you're not willing to learn, you can't be a teacher, because you always have to start as a student. And then you have to ask yourself, once you get that 6 figures, can you double it? Can you triple it? And then it comes to our question right here, is it possible to become a millionaire in just 1 year? It takes time and effort, and people are starting to realize that. So when you look at podcasts like that, you just got to think about what are they going to take away from you? Are you going to get any value, or are they just trying to pocket all the money for themselves? You know? So just take everything with a grain of salt and really pay attention to the words that I'm saying. Also, I like to mention environment. Who do you reach? Who are they willing to help? And do you want access to a nicer and safer environment? Because people think if you're broke, you're not educated, you're not wealthy, you're not mentally stable. They think all these negative things that aren't true. Remember, everything can go away if you do not invest in your future. People invest in stocks because they think about the future investments. They leave it in there. They know that it's going to go down. They know it's going to go back up. It's just a roller coaster with so many emotions. But as soon as you take that money out, and then the next day it goes back up, you're going to be like, oh my goodness, what did I just do? I just stressed myself out for no reason. And it hurts you in the long run because you could have made maybe $50, $100, $1,000 more if you could have just kept it in there for a little bit longer. And when I say who do you reach in your environment, it could be your neighbors, it could be your coworkers, it could be your friends. You just need to surround yourself with positivity. Don't think about the negative, think about the positive. Most married people want to hang out with married people. Most people who have kids hang out with people who have kids to get some advice. People who make a wealthy amount of money in a spectrum, because let's be realistic. $100,000 is not the same as in Texas as it is in Boston. You can probably buy you a nice big house with $100,000 worth of income in Texas. But in Boston, similar to New York, which is one of the most expensive states, you're just making it. That's just two people's income. You need more than that to survive here. You might want a car, but sometimes having a car, you gotta pay for the parking lot. I know people that are paying $500 a month, $600 a month just for parking. And there's nowhere to really park when you get into the city. What else? You think about the location that you want to live in. You want to be accessible to schools near the bus or train route. You want all these things, but this costs more and more money. And then think about having kids. Think about getting married, getting all these different things. All these things require money, time, and patience. I always try to get people to invest in either a financial advisor or someone who knows how to budget. Make sure that they have a certificate. Make sure that they have some type of degree. I think you have to have at least a bachelor's to be an accountant so they know what they're talking about. Because the worst thing to do is get advice from people who know nothing about profit and loss, balance sheets, just naming a few terminologies that return on investments, stocks and bonds, Roth IRAs, just naming a few things. And also, you have to think about how you approach things and how you treat people. And you have to ask yourself, is life really easy for you? Or you just think that people are beneath you? And it kind of puts that nasty tongue in my mouth, in other people's mouth, when you just say that things are just so easy. I know that there was a rant on TikTok where they were just like, you only think life is easy because you have a lot of privilege. You have all these things. You have support. You have this. You have that. Some things that most single people don't have. Most things that people don't have a high-paying job don't have. I think the average income of people in Massachusetts is $40,000. But you need at least $70,000 just for one person just to make it through ends meet and be comfortable. That's a big spectrum. There's a lot of people that are making a decent amount of money, and there's a lot of people that are really struggling. They're on food stamps. They're on welfare. They're on Section 8. They're on so many different things that are helping them afford the things that they have. And it's not about comparing who's better than the other, but it's about maximizing your resources and taking advantage of these different things. So is life easy? What is something that you left away with in this video? How will you improve? How will you change your mindset? And what is something that you're working towards? I have a webinar on February 22nd at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. It's called Goal Pros. Basically, I'll be teaching 5 different techniques of how to approach goals and make them more systemized, so it's easier for you to digest things that you want to. And I think this person should definitely join this webinar presentation because it would give them a realistic sense of it's okay to not make that first $1 million in that 1 year. Just make it sure that you're taking your time, make sure that you're benefiting other people instead of just yourself, and just relax. Just like the same person who wants to lose weight, wants to shed 100 pounds, just focus on the first 10. Think about eating healthy. Think about getting a nutritionist. Think about going to the gym or working from home. Go for a walk. Go for a run. Get you a Peloton. Get you a bike. Get you a treadmill. Lift up some weights. There's so many ways that we can burn calories, make money, improve our education, build wealth, build opportunities if we just apply ourselves and find systems that really work. And being honest with ourselves. So I want to leave you along with this message is that don't believe everything that you hear on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, Lemonade, Twitch, on TV, in the movies, all these actors, singers, just so many people just trying to give advice. That's not really helpful. But all the links will be in the description box below. I want you just to take an opportunity by chance and improve yourself mentally and physically. And just remember that you're in control of your destiny. There might be some roadblocks, but that's okay. Just think about your future and think about the present moment, and don't forget about the lessons that you have learned in the past. Follow me on YouTube, the BPerryFilms Experience, TikTok and Instagram, BPerryFilms, and on LinkedIn, Bobby L. Perry. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you.